Relax now. Take a slow, deep breath in and let it drift out softly, as though the air itself is tired and ready for sleep. Feel your shoulders grow heavy, your hands resting gently where they are, and the steady rhythm of your breath becoming a lullaby in itself. Let the day fade away, as though the world outside the walls of your room grows quieter with each passing moment, a gentle hush, like leaves swaying in the night wind. The fire inside the hearth crackles softly in your imagination, glowing embers sending waves of warmth across a quiet chamber. A soft fur blanket lies across your lap. Candles flicker lazily, the flame tilting one way, then another, as though even the candlelight is beginning to drift into dreams. Allow yourself to feel safe here. No rush, no worries, just the sound of my voice, carrying you slowly, steadily, into a story older than memory, darker than myth, yet told in the softest way, so that you may drift peacefully into sleep. And now, our story today begins in a time long past. A time when castles pierced the sky with stone towers, and the moon looked down upon lonely courtyards filled with whispers. It begins with a queen. Her name was Elizabeth. Some said she was beautiful beyond compare, a woman whose face seemed untouched by time. Her hair, black as raven's wings, her eyes, pale as winter ice, her lips, the faintest shade of crimson, like roses blooming at dusk. But beauty, as you know, can be both a gift and a curse. For Elizabeth feared the one thing that visits all, the slow march of age. She felt its shadow brushing against her even when her face remained fair. And fear, when it lingers too long, can turn into obsession. Imagine, if you will, the echo of footsteps down endless stone halls. The air is cool, smelling faintly of iron and wax from the tall candles that line the walls. Tapestries hang, their woven threads telling stories of knights and saints. But none of these holy images bring peace to the queen. She walks alone, trailing her fingers along cold stone, her thoughts caught on one question: how may I stay young forever? The castle sits atop a hill. Below, villagers live in wooden homes, smoke curling from their chimneys. They tell stories at night about the queen, some stories of her kindness, others of her strange solitude, for she does not join them at feasts. She does not laugh at the midsummer festival. She is a shadow in her own land. One night, a servant brings her a mirror framed in silver. The queen gazes deeply, candlelight dancing across the glass. She sees her reflection, flawless still, but she imagines lines that are not there, shadows beneath her eyes, softness at her jaw. She sees what does not yet exist, and her heart pounds, for what she imagines is not just her future, but her prison. It was then. A cruel thought whispered into her mind. The thought that life could be stolen, that youth might not belong to her alone, but could be taken like a flame borrowed from another's candle. And so the queen began to search. She called upon alchemists, men with ink-stained hands and bottles of glowing liquid. They promised potions of gold, powders of crushed gems, oils that smelled of roses and smoke. She drank them all, but none gave her the gift she craved. Her skin remained fair, yes, but in her mind, every sunrise was a threat, every year a thief. And then, the first story began. One evening, as the queen paced her chambers, a servant stumbled and cut her hand upon broken glass. A drop of red stained the queen's sleeve, and when she wiped it away, the queen thought perhaps it was only imagination, that her skin looked brighter, younger, more alive where the drop had touched. A dangerous seed had been planted. Night after night, Elizabeth brooded. She lit no lamps in her chambers, walking by moonlight alone. She listened to the whispers of the forest winds, the creak of the castle's old beams, until she could no longer tell if the idea was her own, or if something older, something darker, had breathed it into her. And so began her ritual, quiet, secretive. Servants went missing. Whispers grew among the villagers, but none dared to speak too loudly. For who could accuse a queen? They said she bathed in crimson waters, the surface rippling like a mirror under her trembling hands. They said she believed every drop renewed her, as if time itself could be washed away. And yet, even as she soaked in silence, she never felt complete. For beauty does not erase fear, it only feeds it. But you, listening now, can let the darkness slip by like a distant cloud. Imagine only the calm stone chamber, the gentle dripping of water echoing faintly. Imagine candles flickering and the sound of night winds against castle glass. The queen's footsteps echo in long corridors, soft and steady. The stone beneath her is cool. Each sound drifts away, leaving you quieter, more restful. For though the queen's story is shadowed, your heart is safe. The tale is only a dream, and in dreams, even darkness can be soft. Breathe deeply now. Feel the steady rhythm of your breath, in and out. You are warm, safe, drifting deeper. The story continues, slowly, like the turning of an ancient book. Settle a little deeper now. Feel the bed beneath you, supporting every part of your body. Let your arms grow heavier, your legs soft and relaxed, your breath smooth and steady. Imagine a gentle velvet curtain falling slowly across your mind, dimming the light, quieting the noise, inviting rest. And as you breathe, let the story guide you further. The castle, silent in the night, becomes a world of whispers. Beyond its walls, the village sleeps, unaware of what unfolds within. The queen's chambers are vast arched ceilings that vanish into shadow, windows that look out upon forests stretching endlessly. On her table lies parchment filled with notes, drawn in her own hand. Strange symbols, sketches of chalices, lists of herbs. Candle wax drips across the paper, hardening like frozen tears. Elizabeth moves with slow grace. She wears gowns of silk that whisper with each step, dark colors that drink the light. Her jewels sparkle faintly, though to her they are meaningless now. For what are jewels if beauty fades? What is wealth if youth is lost? The villagers tell each other tales. A milkmaid swears she saw a red stain upon the queen's sleeve one dawn. A hunter tells of hearing screams carried across the forest at night, though, when he reached the castle gates, silence greeted him. They tell these stories in hushed tones, voices low, as if the very trees might carry their words to her ears. But in truth, the queen keeps her secrets well. There is a bath in the highest tower, not of marble, not of gold, but of black iron. Heavy, unadorned, meant not for luxury, but for ritual. Torches line the chamber, their flames small, shivering as though afraid. The air is always cooler here, and every sound echoes strangely, as if the walls themselves are listening. And into this vessel she pours her obsession. Night after night, she lowers herself into waters dark as wine. The surface shimmers faintly in the torchlight, rippling as her hands touch the liquid. Steam curls slowly, carrying a faint metallic scent. Her breathing becomes slow, steady, almost trance-like, as she convinces herself that time is flowing backward with every moment spent within. Close your eyes now, if you haven't already. Imagine not the horror, but the stillness of that chamber. The sound of droplets striking the surface, soft as a lullaby. The rustle of the queen's gown as it slips from her shoulders. The faint creak of the iron basin as she moves. These sounds are slow, distant, softened until they are no more frightening than the patter of rain against a window. And in this strange stillness, the queen feels something. Not peace, not joy, but the faint illusion of control. Control over time. Control over loss. Control over the one thing that slips from all hands. Yet obsession cannot remain hidden forever. The villagers begin to notice. First the missing servants, then the unease in the castle itself. Guards whisper of corridors colder than they should be, of mirrors fogging with strange shapes, of the queen wandering the halls at hours when no one stirs, her gown trailing as though she floats. Rumors reach beyond the village. Travelers carry the stories to other towns. Soon, her name is spoken with both awe and dread. Some call her beautiful, others call her cursed. Mothers hush their children with warnings. Do not stray too far, or the queen may take you for her bath. And still, Elizabeth cannot stop, for when she gazes once more into her silver mirror, she thinks she sees a difference. Her skin still fair, her cheeks flushed, her lips full. She believes it works, and that belief is more powerful than truth. She writes in her journals, her hands shaking, ink smudged upon her fingers. She writes of eternal youth, of the power hidden in the essence of life itself. Her words are frantic, desperate, but filled with hope. If I continue, she writes, I shall remain forever beautiful. If I falter, time will devour me. And so the queen's castle becomes not only a place of whispers, but of shadows. Servants walk more quietly. Guards do not meet her gaze. Even the dogs in the courtyard grow restless when she passes. Ears pressed back, tails low, yet no one dares oppose her. For who can stand against the queen? And in this lonely dominance, she grows more fragile still. For every ritual that seems to restore her only deepens her fear of stopping. Like a flame that demands endless oil, her beauty becomes a hunger without end. Pause here a moment. Take a long, slow breath in, and let it out gently. Feel how the story moves like a tide, carrying you deeper into calmness, deeper into stillness. For though the queen's tale is one of shadows, your mind is safe, wrapped in the warmth of rest. The flicker of torchlight, the soft rustle of silk, the distant cries of owls beyond the castle walls. Of these are simply sounds in the night, guiding you further into quiet. Imagine yourself walking slowly through the castle halls. The air is cool, yet you feel calm, as if you are only a ghost, unseen and untouched. Tapestries sway gently in a draft, torches hum with faint firelight, and the queen's voice drifts faintly from a distant chamber, chanting words you cannot understand. You listen not to the meaning, but to the rhythm, low, slow, repetitive, a chant like a lullaby, soft, steady, pulling your mind toward sleep. And as the queen lowers herself once more into her darkened bath, the water ripples outward, and the sound becomes no more frightening than waves upon a shore. Waves that stretch endlessly, carrying you further, deeper, into peace. Sink even deeper. Now, your body is safe, heavy, completely supported. Your breathing is steady, flowing like a slow tide. And with each breath, imagine your thoughts growing quieter, like stars fading one by one into the soft embrace of night. Our story drifts onward. The queen's rituals grow more elaborate. She lights candles of rare wax, perfumes the air with herbs gathered by trembling hands, and recites invocations learned from forgotten texts. The tower chamber glows with wavering fire, shadows dancing like restless spirits. When she sinks into the iron bath, her mind tells her she is floating, not in water, but in time itself. She imagines herself dissolving into eternity, shedding the weight of years. The silence is deep, broken only by the occasional crackle of torch flame and the whisper of her own breath. And yet, silence cannot last forever. One evening, a storm unfurls across the countryside. Rain lashes against the castle walls. Winds howl through the battlements, and thunder shakes the stones themselves. Amid the storm, a servant girl dares to climb the winding stairs of the tower. She carries linens, trembling, instructed to deliver them to the queen. As she reaches the chamber door, she hears the sound, the dripping, the strange rhythmic motion of water, disturbed again and again. The girl presses her ear closer. She smells something metallic, something sharp upon the air. Her courage falters. She sets the linens upon the floor and flees down the stairs, her heart hammering like the thunder above. That night, she whispers what she heard to another, and then to another. Soon, the story spreads again like embers, carried on the wind. But the queen hears everything. Whispers do not escape her notice. She summons the girl. Imagine, if you will, the throne room vast, echoing, lit by shafts of pale morning light. The girl kneels trembling upon the cold stone floor, her hands clasped, her eyes cast downward. Guards stand silent, their armor gleaming faintly, and upon the throne sits Elizabeth, her gaze sharp as ice, her beauty strangely luminous despite the years she should have worn. Her voice, when she speaks, is calm, too calm, like the still surface of water, concealing something deep below. She asks the girl of her duties, her loyalty, her honesty. She praises obedience, then warns of the dangers of gossip. The girl dares not breathe too loudly, and in the end, she is dismissed, but she never speaks again. The villagers notice. They add her absence to their growing list of suspicions. They wonder if the queen has grown more than strange, if she has become something beyond human. Some whisper the word witch, others say monster, but in hushed tones only, for the queen's reach extends far, and yet the queen herself is weary, for obsession brings not peace, but unrest. Each night her bath brings a fleeting illusion of renewal, but with dawn comes a deeper hunger, like a dream slipping from grasp. Beauty fades if she does not clutch at it endlessly. Pause here, listener. Let your breath deepen, slow and gentle. Feel your body sink as though into a warm, comforting bath knot of iron and shadows, but of pure, quiet stillness. A bath that soothes your muscles, softens your thoughts, and wraps you in the safety of night. For here, in your imagination, the story becomes a vessel. The queen's chamber becomes only a distant echo. You are not there, only drifting through the tale like a feather carried upon wind. You are safe, warm, at peace. Now return once more to the castle. One night, Elizabeth gazes into her silver mirror longer than ever before. She studies her reflection by candlelight. She traces the line of her jaw, the softness of her cheeks, the smoothness of her brow. She convinces herself she has turned back the wheel of time, and yet she notices a faint shadow beneath her eyes, a subtle weariness no ritual can erase. Her heart pounds. She cannot accept it. She resolves to strengthen her practice, to go further, to demand more from her strange devotion. The nights grow darker. Servants vanish more often. The tower becomes a place no one dares near. Even the guards assigned to its stairwell feel a deep unease, as though unseen eyes follow them, as though whispers curl just beyond hearing. And outside the castle walls, the villagers grow restless. At night, around their fires, they tell the tale of their queen in voices soft and fearful. They say she drinks the very essence of others. They say she is cursed to never find peace. Some pray for deliverance, others sharpen their resolve to flee. And yet, they cannot turn away, for she is their queen, their ruler, the figure who looms above their lives like the castle upon the hill. And so fear binds them as tightly as loyalty. Take another deep breath now. Feel the weight of that castle pressing into the night air, heavy, unyielding, ancient. And yet, let yourself drift as though floating above it, carried gently by the cool breeze. The torches flicker below, but you rise higher, lighter, safer. The story continues, but you are always at rest. In the queen's private writings, she begins to lose herself. Her words grow frantic. She describes visions of herself as a goddess, of herself untouchable by age, immortal and eternal. But in the same lines, she writes of shadows following her, of mirrors whispering back when she gazes too long. Her dreams turn restless. She hears footsteps where there are none. Doors creak open, though no hand touches them. She wonders if the walls remember, if the stones of her own castle judge her. And perhaps, deep within, she knows that no ritual can truly silence time. But still, she tries. Still, she clings. Still, she sinks once more into the dark water, her pale form trembling in the torchlight, her lips moving in prayer-like murmurs as ripples spread outward, 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 until the entire chamber feels alive with her desperation. And though no one watches, the air itself seems to hold its breath. Breathe slowly, gently. Imagine your thoughts as feathers drifting down a still, moonlit stream. With each exhale, another feather drifts away, until only calm remains. Now, let us step softly back into the castle. The queen's rituals deepen into obsession. She no longer allows even her closest attendants to witness the moments before or after her bath. Her voice grows sharper, her patience thinner. She demands silence in her halls, as though the mere echo of footsteps disturbs her concentration. In the great library, she spends hours gazing at texts long forgotten, their pages crumbling, their ink fading. She searches for hints, for confirmations, for any whisper that her path is the right one. She reads of alchemy, of ancient rites, of rulers who claim to hold time at bay. And with each word, she convinces herself she is not alone, that she is walking a sacred path tread by others who dare to defy mortality. But in quiet moments, when the candles burn low, when the castle's stones groan against the wind, when all is still, doubts creep in. She hears the faintest voice within her own mind. What if this is not power? What if this is only madness? Yet she dares not stop. The silence of the night becomes both her comfort and her prison. In that silence, she feels the pull of eternity. In that silence, she believes she can hear time itself, like a distant river flowing endlessly. And she believes if she just listens long enough, she might learn how to step outside of it. Imagine that sound now, listener. A quiet river flowing endlessly in the dark, soft, eternal, beyond reach, and you floating gently upon it, safe, unbothered, drifting toward sleep. The queen, however, cannot drift. She grips the edges of her illusion tightly. Her reflection is her anchor. She gazes into polished silver until her eyes ache. She smiles at herself, then frowns, then laughs in a way that does not echo right. And slowly, her courtiers notice. At banquets, her laughter is too sharp. At hunts, her gaze is too distant. At dances, she seems to float apart from the music, as if moving to her own unheard rhythm. Some grow wary. Some grow fearful. Some turn their loyalty into flattery, whispering that she is radiant, that she grows more beautiful with every passing moon. But their voices tremble, as though unsure whether they speak truth or lie. And the queen, oh, she hears it all. The adoration feeds her, yet the tremor beneath it unsettles her. One evening, she slips into the chapel at the edge of her castle grounds, a place once filled with prayer and candlelight, now mostly abandoned. She kneels before the altar, but she does not pray. She only stares at the carved stone of a saint whose eyes seem to watch her with quiet judgment. Her lips move soundlessly, and though no words escape, her heart thunders as though in argument with the silence itself. Outside, snow begins to fall, soft, endless flakes drifting down upon the castle roofs, upon the forest branches, upon the fields where villagers huddle in their cottages. Snow muffles every sound, turning the world quiet, almost peaceful. But in the queen's heart, there is no peace. That night, she dreams of mirrors cracking. She dreams of rivers of red running down stairwells. She dreams of herself as a young girl, laughing freely, sunlight warming her skin, only for that vision to dissolve into darkness, into the iron tub, into silence too deep to bear. When she wakes, her hands are trembling. Yet still, she rises. Yet still, she climbs the tower stairs. Yet still, she lights the torches, lowers herself into the bath, and whispers her litany. For she cannot stop, and outside her walls, the whispers grow louder. Villagers gather at night to tell stories of her tower. They speak of screams muffled by stone, of shadows moving behind barred windows, of strange crimson stains upon the snow near the servants' quarters. Children dare each other to look upon the castle at night, claiming to see candlelight flickering like restless eyes. The bravest claim they heard her voice singing softly, hauntingly carried on the winter wind. Imagine those villagers now, listener, gathered close to the fire, their faces flickering orange, their eyes wide with fear. Imagine their voices weaving the tale of their queen, each whisper adding to the legend, each breath feeding the flame of rumor. And above them all, the castle looms, silent, unmoving, but alive with secrets. Take a breath with me now. In through the nose, hold, and out, long and gentle. Release any heaviness, let it dissolve. You are not in that castle, you are far away, safe, wrapped in warmth, listening only as a dreamer listens. For dreams are all this is, and yet, the queen's dream is different. In her, the dream twists into waking life. She believes herself chosen, believes herself beyond the laws of time. And though the world outside her tower whispers in fear, she whispers only to herself, I am eternal. I am eternal. Her voice echoes in the chamber, soft, steady, unyielding. But the chamber grows colder. The air grows heavier. Even the torches flicker as though unsettled. And perhaps, just perhaps, the walls themselves begin to listen. Sink deeper now. Feel the heaviness of your body, as if you are lying on soft moss in a quiet forest. The earth cradles you, steady and timeless, while the wind above carries whispers you need not chase. All is safe, all is still, and now, return with me to the Queen's Tower. Her baths have grown longer. What once lasted an hour now stretches until the candles gutter out, until her skin is pale and her eyes are glazed with exhaustion. Her attendants knock timidly at the door, but she does not answer. They wait outside, pressing their ears to the heavy wood, listening for movement. Sometimes they hear only silence, sometimes faint humming, sometimes something they cannot name. Inside, the Queen feels herself dissolving into the liquid, as though her very being is merging with the crimson depths. She closes her eyes and imagines she is floating, weightless, drifting through time as one might drift through a dream. Her mind whispers, "I am not bound, I am not bound." She feels young again, and yet she feels ancient. She feels infinite, but when she rises, when she steps before the mirror, she sees not only youth, she sees her eyes, hollow with obsession. She sees her smile, strained and trembling. She sees a flicker of someone she does not recognize, peering back from the depths of her reflection. And she shudders. That shudder follows her into the daylight. At feasts, she demands music louder and faster, as though drowning out thoughts that creep in when it is too quiet. At council, she dismisses her advisors' warnings with sharp laughter, though their words echo in her mind long after. At night, she orders guards doubled, claiming shadows lurk at her door, though no intruder is ever found. Her kingdom begins to waver. Fields go untended, as peasants whisper of curses and omens. Nobles plot in corners, wondering how long their queen can hold power. Priests mutter that the heavens themselves grow restless. But the queen does not hear them, for in her tower, time bends. She swears days pass differently there. The sun sets more slowly, or more quickly. She cannot decide. The moonlight lingers strangely at her windows, painting her in silver as though it knows her secret. Even the ticking of the great clock in the hall seems to falter when she climbs the spiral stair. Imagine now, listener, a staircase winding upward endlessly, stone-worn smooth by centuries of footsteps, each step echoing softly, fading quickly into silence. And you, floating up those stairs, without effort, weightless, calm, timeless. That is how the queen feels, and yet her calm is laced with unease. One night, she lights not only torches, but hundreds of candles in the chamber. Their flames dance wildly, reflecting endlessly in mirrors she has had brought in mirrors covering every wall. She lowers herself into the bath, and in every direction, dozens of her own faces stare back. Some are smiling, some are solemn, some seem to move when she does not, and she whispers to them all, "I am eternal, I am eternal." The words echo strangely, as though the mirrors themselves are speaking them back. Her breathing quickens, her heart pounds. Her voice grows louder until the attendants below hear her shouting, chanting, laughing in tones too high, too sharp. They clutch each other's hands, too frightened to enter. And still, the queen chants, until suddenly silence. The candles flicker out, the chamber falls dark, and when light returns, she is smiling, serene, as though nothing has passed at all. But her serenity is not peace. It is the serenity of surrender. She has given herself wholly to her ritual. She no longer questions, no longer doubts. She no longer hears the whispers of conscience, of reason, of fear. She has drowned them all, outside. However, the world has not surrendered. Villagers bring their fears to the chapel, begging priests for guidance. Farmers speak of blight upon their crops, blaming it on the queen's cursed magic. Mothers clutch their children tighter when the castle bells toll at night. And the nobles, they plot. They whisper of replacing her, of ending her reign before her madness consumes them all. But none dare act too quickly, for though they fear her, they fear more the strange power that seems to linger in her presence, a power they cannot name. Imagine now, listener, a castle lit only by the moon, its halls empty, its windows dark. And in the highest tower, one faint glow remains her chamber, where the queen still lingers in silence. The world below waits. The kingdom waits, as though holding its breath, suspended in time, uncertain whether dawn will bring light or deeper shadow. And you, too, can hold your breath just a moment, then let it out, slowly, gently, feeling the heaviness of sleep drawing closer. Because our story, like the Queen's, drifts toward its final act. Her path is nearly complete, her silence nearly absolute. But remember, dear listener, as her tale descends into shadow, you drift upward into light, into calm, into rest. Her darkness is her own. Your peace remains untouched. Feel your breath slow, steady, calm. Your eyelids are heavy, so very heavy, yet safe and soothed. As the story moves toward its end, you drift toward your own dreamland, softly, peacefully, and in that softened state, return with me one last time to the Queen's Tower. The air has changed. The once silent corridors are now hushed in tension, every servant moving as though they walk on fragile glass. The Queen is seen less often, her appearance is fleeting, her face veiled. When she does appear, the hush deepens. People bow low, yet none dare look into her eyes. For in those eyes, something has shifted. The sparkle of youth remains, but it is too sharp, too brittle like sunlight glinting off broken glass. There is beauty, yes, but there is also something unbearable, something that makes the heart quicken with unease. And in the stillness of night, her baths continue. One evening, she enters the chamber with no attendants at all. She has dismissed them, her voice quiet but firm. She bolts the doors. She lights the torches herself, and she lowers herself into the bath once more. But tonight is different, for tonight, the silence feels final. Imagine, listener, the stillness of a pond in moonlight. Its surface so smooth, it seems like polished stone. The air around it cool, unmoving. And you, gazing into that pond, watching your reflection soften and blur, until you are not sure where you end and the water begins. That is how the Queen feels, as she sinks beneath the crimson surface. She closes her eyes. She lets her body float, light as a feather. Her hair spreads like dark ribbons around her. Her lips move silently, shaping words no one hears. Time passes minutes, hours, perhaps longer. None can say. When at last the chamber doors creak open, attendants find the torches still burning, the mirrors still reflecting endless faces. But the bath is still, and the Queen is gone. No body remains, no trace, no garment, no sign, only the faintest ripple in the water, fading into stillness. And in the mirrors, some swear her face lingers still. Not one reflection, but many dozens, hundreds watching, waiting, some smiling, some solemn, some whispering without sound. The attendants flee. The chamber is sealed. And so ends the tale of the Queen who bathed in blood to stay young. Her kingdom falls into hushed legend, her story whispered from generation to generation. Some call her cursed, some call her immortal, still walking unseen. Others say she was simply a woman who feared the passing of time, who gave herself so fully to her fear that she dissolved into it, leaving nothing behind but echoes. But you, dear listener, need not follow her path, for unlike her, you are safe. Unlike her, you are at peace. Unlike her, you drift not into shadows, but into light. So now, imagine her story fading away. See the tower dissolve into mist. See the mirrors dim and vanish. See the bath drain into nothingness, until only the sound of your breath remains. Soft, steady, calm, the story is finished. The Queen is gone, and you are free to rest. Feel the blanket of night wrapping around you. Feel your heartbeat slow, calm, safe. Feel your mind loosen, drifting away from thought, away from memory, into pure stillness. Let go, let go, let go. For tonight, no shadows follow you, no whispers chase you. There is only the hush of sleep, soft as a lullaby, carrying you gently toward dreams. You are safe, you are still, and now you are asleep.